I'm Rob Skeoch. Welcome to my channel. It's been a bit of a while since I've posted. A lot of things have happened. I'm here at my new house. We sold our house north of Toronto. We went on a road trip and now we've ended up in Quebec in a new house, much smaller. We needed to downsize, closer to the kids. Anyways, we're in a much smaller house and my studio, which used to be magnificent, is now part of a bedroom. And the darkroom's another story. Anyways, welcome to the channel. I'm a retired photographer. I shot sports mostly as a photographer. I did work at newspapers at the beginning, but I did 14 seasons with the NFL and 17 seasons for Major League Baseball. Shot a bit of basketball. I shot 1,000 plus NHL games, pro hockey games. So I did make my living as a pro sports photographer, and then I left there and went to Sony and was a national manager in their digital imaging group. Anyways, now I'm a YouTuber and I really want to talk about black and white. So this year has been weird. I was out west in the Rockies in April, and then when we sold our house, it was 5 weeks from when we sold the house to when we got the newer house. And so we drove across from the Toronto area to Vancouver Island and did some scuba diving, and I took some photos along the way. And then we got back here, and we've been back here for about a month moving in. The house is functional. It's going to be years before things are really in the right spot, but it's functional for now. And I'm starting to kind of look back and open some camera bags. So when we drove across the country, I did shoot a bit of film, and I'm going to talk about that today. I haven't really talked about it. I've been moving, I've been unpacking, I've been trying to set up a new life here. So I'll get started on that today. So on this trip out west, why am I looking at this stuff now? Well, because in a couple more days I'm flying back out to the Rockies, and I thought I better get this stuff out of the camera bag at least. So this is the film that I shot. A lot of HP5, 5 rolls of HP5. This is all shot on a Hasselblad, and I shot 3 rolls of Canon F3T, and I play around with this Rollei infrared, and I shot 1 roll of that on the way, on the trip. Now, HP5 is a magnificent film, but it's the film that I'm migrating from. I'm trying to shoot Canon F3 as a everything film, and not have to use like Delta 100, Delta 400, or FP4, or HP5. I just want to have one film. And so I've got a bunch of HP5. I still probably have 20 or 30 rolls to work through. But I'm shooting HP5 because I'm using it up. And I'm going to settle on this Canon F3. So anyways, this is the film that I used on my last trip. And the darkroom's not set up. I've got no way to process this yet. So it's going to just be stored here until I get back from this next trip, I guess. Let me give you a bit of a summary of what I shot and what I took on this last trip, and hopefully I'll be able to plan for my next trip. So I did take 2 camera bodies. Now, I was driving from north of Toronto to Vancouver Island. So space was tight, but it wasn't super tight. It wasn't like flying tight. So my main camera is a Hasselblad 555. So that's the motorized Hasselblad. It's kind of the pinnacle of, I think, of what Hasselblad did for film. And then my backup is called a 503 CXI. This is a later model. It's like a 500 or a 501 or a 503. They just made these small little changes. So this is a 503 CXI. It was one of the last of the film models. I like the black ones. They mark up easier though, so maybe the chrome would be better, but I've got 2 black ones. So the main camera, of course, is the 555. I have a chimney viewfinder on it. That's what I like. And the backup is the 503. And I did kind of go back and forth between the 2 of them, for sure. For film backs, as I said, I shot 3 types of film, and I had 3 different film backs. So I could leave that Rollei film, the infrared film, in the film back if I wanted to. But anyways, I think on this next trip, I'll just be taking 1 film back. I don't have as much space as I wish. So if Hasselblad is my main camera, then what are the lenses that I use? Well, I would say my first choice, if I only could take 1 lens, it would be the Hasselblad 180. It was magnificent ever since it came out. and it's just a great focal length. Again, you're in the mountains, but there's a lot of foreground, and I like to get to the peaks. So I found the 180 pretty useful. Now I use it with an orange filter. Again, I'm only shooting black and white film, so I use an orange filter the most. I took a yellow filter, I took a red filter, I use the orange filter the most. I'll talk about filters, and other people have talked about filters in another video. There's lots of videos about that. I've done a few myself. Now, these are B+W, which are not bayonet to the Hasselblad, so I have to use this inexpensive kind of like Hasselblad bayonet to whatever, 67 or whatever the filter size is. So I use this cheap ring so that I don't have to buy the overpriced Hasselblad filters. I can buy the slightly overpriced B+W filters. And it doesn't matter what filter brand, I don't think. I use B+W. They're great. There's lots of great ones. This looks orange, technically called deep yellow, but looks orange to me, and it's called an 040. So this is the single most important filter that I use. So besides the 180, I would say the second most useful lens was the 250. It's a favorite lens of mine. We used to use it for basketball, for the NBA a lot. You would have cameras mounted in different spots on remotes, and then those would be hooked up to the strobes up in the ceiling. It was a pretty technical exercise to link up the remote cameras with the strobes and have 2 or 3, maybe even 4 cameras. I think I only ever had 3. I had 3 of the 553s, which are the motorized camera, and they were remotes, and they would all fire at the same time in sync with the flashes in the ceiling. It was pretty technical to do. You needed some technical gear that I no longer have. But the 250 was great in the mountains, and I used to use it for basketball a lot too. So that's my second best lens. Now, the 120 is technically a macro. I just use it as a 120. I didn't do any macro shots, but I took this along. It took some of the photos. And this fourth lens, the final lens, is the 50. So this is really the only wide angle that I have. And it's one of the later models, so it has sort of like 2 focuses where you focus and then you adjust the inner optics again and refocus it. But this is a 50. I used it a bit. It's a different filter size. So for this one, I need another ring and another set of filters. Had I been smarter, I would have realized when I first started buying the filters that this lens was a different size bayonet, because I could have gotten away with 1 set of filters. Now I have a set of filters with the weird adapter for 3 lenses, and the 4th lens needs its own set. I could have just sort of stepped up everything to this one size. That would have been smarter had I planned further ahead. Anyways, those are the 4 lenses that I took. It's kind of the basics of my system. You know, I dream of having like a super wide. Maybe I get that one day. Have no reason what I would use it for. I hardly use the 50, so the super wide on Hasselblad's at 38. I would use that less, I guess, in theory. So yeah, these are the 4. These are the ones that get me in and out of trouble. So as I said, I did bring 4 lenses. I did bring 2 cameras, and I brought filters, yellow, orange, red, infrared, and I also had a green filter for the 50mm lens. So I brought those accessories, and then the other important accessories I brought were my light meters. So I have 2. I have a Skeoch digital readout, fantastic, super accurate. Don't use it. Fantastic though. There would be situations where you would use it, maybe like a portrait or something like that. But if you're doing a mountain, it's probably not perfect. And then I have this old Minolta flash spot meter, and it's magnificent. And it's been flawless. I love it. This is spot meter F. Man, they haven't made these in 20 or 30 years, but this has been magnificent. I don't know who makes a spot meter now, but when I was a working pro, this meter was like the go-to. And there was a Minolta meter, I don't know, like a regular incident meter that did flash, Minolta flash meter or something like that. They were magnificent. They were the standard. When it said 5.6 1/3, 5.6 1/3 was the answer. Anyways, so a couple of meters and a cable release for the one Hasselblad. The motorized Hasselblad doesn't use the style cable release. And so I just fire it by the button. But I'm going through this. Everything is in a backpack, and I'm going through it now because I'm literally packing the backpack for my next trip. My next trip is in a couple of days, and I've got to get ready to roll. So I'm going to take some Hasselblad stuff. I had pondered taking the Nikon or the Leicas. Like it's great to have a choice. But you know what? When I'm out there, I like to shoot with the Nikons. When I'm back in the darkroom, I like to print from a 2 1/4 negative. So if you're gonna shoot and print, it's hard to shoot 35 mil when you have a Hasselblad at home. You just kind of want to shoot with the 120. I think that's what I'll do. Anyways, I'm excited about this next trip. Just have to repack the bags and eventually get this stuff processed and looked at and printed and marveled at. I guess that's the next step, to marvel at it. Anyways, I hope you found that interesting. This is the kit that I used on my road trip across the country. And on the road trip, we did go to Vancouver Island, not to do photography, but to scuba dive with a giant Pacific octopus, which we did do, and that was fun.